It's all about speculation. The whole video that I'm about to do. It's all about speculation. So here we go. So what we're looking at here is, well, obviously Bitcoin, right? There's a couple indicators on here. And, there's two indicators. It's the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator and the golden ratio Fibonacci multipliers top detector, which I recently had the privilege of actually finding out who created this and talked to them. It's quite an interesting indicator. I've actually had it for some time, but I wanted to talk about it for a minute. Just again, this is me just being bored, playing around. We've been going sideways for a little while, so I've been in my Bitcoin long for what feels like forever. So figured I'd do something a little bit fun. So I decided, just to kind of mess around with these two indicators for a little bit. And came up with something that might be interesting. Again, it might be pure speculation. Why not? Let's just play around, shall we? So, as you can see, we got Bitcoin from the beginning of time. We're on Bitstamp on the daily here, and you'll notice that this golden ratio Fibonacci multipliers top detector, as you can see in the green, top detected, top detected, top detected, top detected, seems to be pretty on the money, right? And I won't bore you to death with all of the details of all of the lines and things of that nature, but basically they're moving averages. You can go on to look into Bitcoin. What is it? Lookintobitcoin.org or .com, and you can read all about the indicator and what it actually does. So, but basically put, I'm just going to kind of keep it simple for you. Every single one of the moving averages, there's a multiplier on it, and then in theory, every single run is supposed to hit the next bottom line, the next moving average underneath it, right? So here, as you can see, we hit this top one here. What was that? Right there, SMA 21 and 13s is what they're calling it in the indicator. But you can see here, right? So we tagged this one, and then we tagged the yellow, and then we came down to the blue. And we came down, to this purple, right? Even though this was technically the high, barely, but it was the high. So that means in theory, the next one that we hit that stops us should be the red one. Okay? That's how the theory goes. So I just wanted to point that out. Again, I'm keeping it simple, not diving into all the craziness with it, keeping it simple. So let's look at the time that we've got here. Now this one, the first bull run, maybe it doesn't quite count. It's beginning of the bull run, beginning of Bitcoin's history, right? But this one takes, we don't exactly know when it began, I should say. I mean, TradingView tries to do its best, but so I'm kind of, tell you what, let's just ignore this one here. But the last two bull runs that we've had, approximately 162 days, right? Huge percentage moves. 160 days, much smaller percentage move, right? And this, we're just going from lows to high here. We're not talking about Elliott Wave. Some people see this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've seen people, even myself, thought about this being like a triangle in here, with a very tiny E, and we just get just absolute blast off. It's a possibility, but we're not talking about that stuff right now. What we're talking about is just simply the move in the way that it looks in relation to time, in relation to the moving averages on this golden ratio Fibonacci multipliers top detector. The next thing that we've got on here is the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator. The stock to flow is very interesting. If you don't know about the stock to flow, you can go look it up, find out what it's all about. Don't want to get into that here. The interesting thing about it here is if you look, stock to flow, predicted this area, right? So you see these lines coming up. And stock to flow then here predicted this area, right? Again, you can see these lines coming across. This is the stock to flow, is this part right here. Tell you what, let's back this off for just a second. Okay, so now you can see it. So the next run is actually predicting, up here in this box, right? We didn't get there last time, which is kind of interesting. Maybe there's a flaw in my silly little hypothesis here, but let's just say if we kept with trend, well, so here's this moving average. And again, my white line is just a complete and utter guess, speculation, whatever you want to call it. It really doesn't matter, right? It's a bunch of bullshit, probably. But let's just say if it does that, you notice in the past how the MAs, they will move up as Bitcoin is moving up, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious the MAs they're lagging indicators and they're going to follow what the price action does. So let's just say it does move up, and it could be in some other pattern. I don't really care what it does. I think the point that I find is pretty interesting is that if we do what we've done in previous cycles, then in theory we should come back up to, again, this box right up in here. And, this general area, which, it's a pretty big range. I mean, 147,000 to 256,000. It's a huge range. The question is going to become, are these two indicators going to repeat? Are they going to work again? Are we going to see this moving average, pop up like this? Is this channel that we have on here going to be in play or in effect in any way, shape, or form? I don't know. But I just want to say that it's very interesting indicators. Both of these are, as far as what they could potentially be predicting. Could the fact that we're going to have all this potential ETF approval, could it make price do something absolutely crazy? Or maybe it's not too terribly crazy. The last little bit on here is that, so again, we were talking about time. So 1,062 days, 1,060 days. Well, if this is our low, this puts us way out here, which, dang it, I had the actual time on there, but so this is, let's just call that the first. So 280 days in from January 1st, it's pretty far in. It's not quite the end of the year. It's about fall sometime. That in theory, if we go another 1,060 days, we'll be in the fall of 2025 before this bull run is done. And this could be, a nice slow move up. Well, who wants slow, but you know what I'm saying. It's not going to be, maybe it'll be a relaxing move rather than a holy shit, look at this moon kind of run. But either way, I just wanted to point out just a quick video at this indicator. I'm not going to say that I'm going to expect 200,000, but considering all the news that's out there, the potential of where we're going, the fact that it feels like we have already bottomed, the fact that we've got some great movement coming up here, the fact that alts are taking off and alts have bottomed, the ETFs, I mean, this could get crazy. So I think it really could get crazy. But check out this top detector, when you get a chance. I think it's quite interesting. Of course, if too many people believe in it, it won't work anymore. So anyway, guys, have a great night. I just wanted to play around, show something silly. Maybe we get like, where's the stupid bars pattern indicator? Where are you? Oh, yeah. Are we going to get a nice kind of slow reaction, something like this? Granted, I'm going to manipulate this here, but, are we just going to kind of ride the bottom of this? What's going to happen? Pretty interesting to wonder, right? Anyway, for now, tell you what, we can go over Bitcoin for a minute. So there's probably a bunch of different ways that you can count this at the top right here. This is just kind of what I'm looking at. I've been long for a while, and I normally trade on pretty high time frames, so I don't really care what's going on. I do feel that there's more left. Is this 4 actually over here? I'm kind of waiting for it down here as a potential, or maybe we're just going to sit here and bounce around like this, stuck in this channel until we pop. It's very possible. Counts are just counts. Every morning when we wake up, we've got more data, and counts can potentially change. So, kind of living at the moment still with Bitcoin. There are some other counts, of course. There's a lot of counts, frankly. Personally, I think that if we are on a bull run, if we expect, if we have any hope at all of getting to 200,000, 250,000, whatever the case may be, that we're going to have multiple 1-2s in order to get there. I don't think that we would just do a wave 1 and then retrace and go into the third. I think we'd need multiple 1-2s in order to pull off that kind of a bullish run. So anyways, this is kind of what I'm seeing now. We've got a 1-2, 1, sideways 2. The only area that's kind of tripping me up a little bit is these areas right in here. These almost look like three-wave move to me. Three-wave moves. I mean, it frankly, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a retrace, and then you get a big move up. So, and I don't necessarily think they're flats, because this looks like a three-wave move. This could be right here like an A, B, and then you get your C, and maybe it is, but again, it's these two moves in here are suspect, which is why right now I don't have any kind of a count on it. Recently saw an idea by a guy I respect very well that was kind of wondering if this whole thing in here was some sort of a triangle, so it would be like that. So basically be A, B, C, D, E, and we're going up now for a fifth. It seems way too large compared to the rest of the moves for this to be a 4. It seems way too large to me for the rest of the move. But like I said, I respect his opinions and his counts. I'm sure he's far better than I am. So I'm just not willing to believe that huge move is a wave 4. So right now I'm still sticking with what I've got. I do think that there's definitely some fuckery here that's not going to be resolved. We're not going to get a direct answer for it. So maybe somehow it turns into 1, 2, 1, 2. We're just going to have to wait and see. Right now I'm simply working off of this count right in here, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, triangle into the 4. We get the fifth for the third. If I'm not mistaken, measurements, look good. It's a bit high for that third. Kind of normally like to see it right in, this range between the 1.618 and the 2. She peaks above, but that's still what I'm kind of going with for right now. And now we're just kind of fucking about still in multiple 4s here. So what else can we look at? Is there anything else that's fun? Oh, yeah. Well, we can look at some other fun stuff here. I have to ignore some of my pages are chicken scratch, right? So, I personally do feel that we are incredibly bullish, honestly. I've seen a lot of people's counts, over the years where they were thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're complete, and then this happens. People think, oh, we're going down forever, and, I think that frankly we've consistently done a bunch of 1-2s, and the reason why I say that is, now this is logarithmic, so of course it doesn't look deep. It doesn't look steep. It doesn't. These retraces don't look huge, but in fact, they are huge. These are all 80-90% retraces in Bitcoin. It's just in logs, so you're not noticing it. And when things like that happen, they can't be wave 4s. Sorry, like just a wave 4 doesn't retrace 80%, 90%. Just doesn't do it. So I'm more of the opinion that these were all wave 2s that we've seen. So I'm sitting here counting it right now as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. So now the question starts to become, are we going into a third? Are we gonna like, holy shit, this thing? You know what I'm saying? Either way, that's just my hopium perhaps talking. So perhaps it is. Again, didn't we say this video was all about speculation? Yeah, well. And keep in mind, guys, if you may look at some of these counts in here and go, wow, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Well, this count was actually done in arithmetic. It wasn't done in log. And it takes a lot of time to do that, but you can see why certain moves look the way that they do, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You start really getting down into all this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to be another 2. I mean, come on. Again, look at this. You're going to tell me this is a wave 4 that retraces to the 786? Oh, look at that. We're tagging a 50. I didn't even see that before. Cute. This is not a wave 4. So I think it's another wave 2. Hence why there's a 1 up here and there's another 2 down here. So that's kind of like my bigger scale picture, which I think will all be dead before we see this actually completely play out. Anything else fun? Oh, we got my channels chart, which has been kind of interesting. So I'm a big fan of channels, just the geometry of it and how crypto seems to stick with it. And again, you can kind of ignore my chicken scratch. Let me just get this off here. So this is on the daily, and if you were around a long time ago, you knew about these channels. Called this one in here the blue bastard because we could never get out of it for the longest time, and finally did. Fell right through it. We could never get back out of it. And here we could never get back out of it again. Probably pretty hard to see. But shit. But I like throwing channels on things just to see the geometry of what happens. I mean, as you can see, it takes a minute to find what channels are actually, working, where we're bouncing to and from. And of course, you can't expect things to be perfect, but look at this run off these channels. Look at all of the resistance and support. Resistance, 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 resistance. We start coming down. We start getting support, resistance on this median. Look how we're bouncing around in here. We finally, this channel that, of course, we don't know that exists at the time, starts coming down. And again, we start getting support. We start just fucking about right in here. Support. And somehow we find ourselves. Now, this is where my channels get a little odd, because you would want to think that there's a channel here that we're writing some line. And there might be. I don't know if maybe somehow my chart got screwed up or something, but on the way up, it looks good. We're getting resistance, and here we're getting resistance. Again, guys, these are just channels. There's no science to it at all. There's no rhyme or reason of where I put channels or not. It's not following any kind of Elliott Wave pattern. It's not following any traditional anything. They're just channels. But But it's interesting how, so the yellow lines here are actually the medians of larger channels. And right here, we're just kind of screwing around right in this channel, right in the median of this massive channel, which is between this green line here and this green line. And then it's all broken up into channels inside of it. So, but you can see how once again here, look at this. There's the outside of this green channel, and now we're playing with the median of this green line. Okay, we're on the inside of it. Resistance, resistance, resistance. We get up. So it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to see it, see what the channels do to it. Again, this is just me playing around, being bored when I got nothing better to do. So, and there's the CME on the weekly. Don't pay too much attention to the CME, even though I probably should. I do like to use a little bit of the Bollinger Bands and kind of keep them up and watch them. Anyway, I was just a little bored tonight. Thought I'd make another quick video. Maybe I'll do one more tonight. I know the last video I did was on what? Sol? Sol and Ethereum? Tell you what. Let's bring over Sol just for a minute, because man, I was proven wrong on Sol, but it was a good wrong. So let's talk about Sol for a minute. Okay, so last time when I left this, I believe we were down here 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4, and we got our fifth. You know, this is, I thought we were going to stop. You know, like say about here, and then we were going to get our retrace to come down, and instead Sol was like, haha, see you later, you know, and just, I was hoping for something like that is what I was trying to go for, but man, she just decided to take off instead. I mean, look at just beautiful action here. So for all intents and purposes, I think we could count it as 3, 4, 5. It's going to give us our third. The fourth, well, don't know if it's done yet. Don't know if it's going to come back, you know, back down to this bigger channel. We don't know what it's going to do yet. That's the nice thing about playing large time frames, which I would highly recommend all of you do. So right now, look at that. We've hit a 1-to-1, and we would expect a 4 in this area all the way down here. Granted, we're in a bull run, and you tend not to see 4s go where they're supposed to go in bull runs. We typically go sideways, but let's just pretend for a minute. Now look at that. The 1-to-1 is directly on the 382. So you know what? For now, I'm going to just kind of place my guess down here. If that's where she goes, fantastic. I'm still long Sol, so I don't care. If it retraces, gives me a chance to get in again, hey, awesome. I'll take it. If it doesn't, it's okay. I'm already in. So 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4, and we're still got to find this fifth. The interesting thing, you know, to keep in mind is if we are truly bullish, right, we should be looking for a wave 3, which, you know, this would be in the area for a wave 3. You know, this is the zone right here we'd be looking for. Of course, I'm crazy. I want to see extensions all the time. Give me like the 2618, which would be great, but something like that would be in theory where we'd go. We'd come in all the way back. You know, we do basically something like that. Would be the idea. I love when I'm wrong, but it's not in a bad way. Yeah. And keep in mind, guys, if you're new to Elliott Wave, you're going to be wrong all the time. Because guess what? All the experts are wrong all the time, too. Every day our counts could change just based on the more information that we get. All right? So, we'll have to see how this progresses, but right now Sol is just kicking ass. It's that simple. Let's go check on... I got some other shit coins that I kind of look at, of course. Cardano has basically just kind of mooned. Here's an interesting one. I'll tell you what, let's talk about Kaspa. Now, I recently, well, maybe in the last 6 months or so, started mining Kaspa. I was a big Ethereum miner for the longest time. And obviously we can't mine Ethereum anymore. So I had to find something else to mine. And I messed around with, a few little shit coins, things of that nature. But eventually I just kind of started mining Kaspa. I actually bought some ASIC miners for Kaspa, which is my first time I've ever bought them. Now, the first look at Kaspa, and it's a shit coin. Who knows what's going to happen with it or what it's going to do. Your first look... When I first saw this whole chart, it had to get pointed out to me there was more history with it. But I'm like thinking to myself, okay, there's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3, there's a 4, there's a 5. And it's just a massive diag, and this thing is going to come rocketing down like crazy. And that hasn't happened, obviously. When you look at what Kaspa has done as far as its mining is concerned and how many miners have actually gone into this coin. It's quite astounding, frankly. It's had a huge following, big turn in taking away gigahashes and terahashes from other coins to go into Kaspa, which is pretty interesting. As you can see, I mean, it's only been around since September of 22, right? So it's barely over a year old. But at this point, I think it's safe to say we don't have a diag, right? We don't have a diag. We've got, at this point... All right, so we're probably coming into a third right now. Probably going to slow down any moment. We're going to be looking for a fourth, which is probably going to go sideways while Bitcoin then starts to run again. And we're going to get a fifth. Now, out of all this, I'm sure there's plenty of ways to count it. I try to keep things simple. Guys, don't try to be right. It's not about being right. It's just about having an idea. And hopefully your ideas pan out to make you some money. If we have a massive set of 1-2s here, I mean, look where this is going. This is kind of right in that neighborhood of where we'd expect that fifth. I mean, could this thing really be doing this? Just a ludicrous 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 situation going on here. Yeah, I know the guys I talk to online are like James and his 1-2s, James and his 1-2s. But, I mean, look at this thing. When something, if this thing would have fallen from the sky, okay, just did this retrace here and then, okay, understandable. But it didn't do that. It is now, as far as I'm concerned, the diag is off the table. And so we've just got to get rid of these. And we've just got to go with what we're being given right now, which is pretty easy to say that it looks like this thing is just going parabolic. The only problem with Kaspa is that you can't trade it. You can't, you can trade it, but it's not on very many exchanges. And for somebody like me, it's actually difficult to sell it or swap it because of KYC, and most of the exchanges that have this are in foreign countries, which don't deal with the United States. And yes, I know about VPNs and yada, yada, yada. I'm just lazy. So something else I find interesting too is that I've got a Kaspa against Bitcoin chart. And it's not much, but look at that. This is out on the daily as well. Certainly it's getting hot, right? But for something new to enter the market, man, looks like it could be a hell of a lot of fun. You know what? Let's put a channel back on this. Why not? Yep. This would be pretty sweet for this thing to keep going. All right. What else do I have? What else can we just talk about? Cardano, I don't have much of a count on it. It's just moving. It's just moving. I mean, Willie G's most favorite coin in the world. This appears to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I looks like a diag to me. I mean, you'd have to count it like that if you were going to be bullish on it. So I've got a bunch of Cardano now, but I let it sit there on the weekly. So Ethereum. Should we talk about Ethereum? Are you yelling yes? You know, at your computer. All right, fine. So we'll talk about Ethereum. So as I said, I used to be an Ethereum miner. So I have a lot of this stuff. So here's my count on ETH. I haven't really touched it too terribly much. Sorry guys, I am a vapor. Got to refill the tanks every once in a while. So this was pretty nasty, without a doubt. This whole count in here, but and I know all about the, you know, there should not be a flat in the B of a flat on things of that nature. I don't care. This is the count that I've come up with, guys. I'm not exactly a purist on things, but A, B, C, into a C. It's pretty straightforward. It's just all over the damn place. We take it from down here, and what do we get? Well, are we in log? No, okay. We kind of crossed the 50 here. You know, we don't really stop anywhere. You know, we get 786 here. Nothing too. There's a golden zone tag, so okay. There's our algo target sitting up here, up here, up here. Algo targets 2300, 2750, 3133. So definitely got that. We could put a pitchfork on this, and because now we should get what is it, ladies and gentlemen? 80% probability of hitting the median line. So we'll go like that. So right there, 2376. Guess we'll have to wait and find out. But I think right now we are looking for a wave 1, probably on a wave 1. I think Ethereum is going to go silly this time. I mean, I think it's just going to go silly. If in fact we're truly bullish, maybe it's cautious optimism, right? But if we are truly going to go, I haven't been trading Ethereum very much lately. That's why I have no count on this. But I will say, let's do some quick looking here. It might be at too high of a time frame. Oh, sorry, I just blew that right at the camera, didn't I? 1, 2, 1, 2. God, this is just nasty. I mean, it's great. It's just nasty. As far as trying to actually weed out a count, right? Are we in log? No. One. I mean, what am I supposed to believe here? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. I mean, it starts to get a little wrecked. If I would say anything, You know, keeping it simple. That's what I would have to say. Could there be, maybe this is another 1 right here, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're still going to get, you know, a fourth and then maybe another fifth up is possible. But to me, it looks like a pretty well completed impulse. Get that fifth where we're expecting to get it, you know, based on the channel movement. I mean, it's all pretty vertical. We're falling out. So this could be done. Now, if we kind of relate that back to what I was looking at Bitcoin, there's a possibility here that this count obviously is off, and maybe this fifth is actually like right here, and we're just barely going to make a fifth. Maybe this whole move up here, maybe this is some sort of a diagonal that we're putting in. I mean, who's to say, right? But to me, it looks like Ethereum is kind of over unless there happens to be, you know, something like this still left to go. Maybe there's another move. Just gonna have to wait and find out. Either way, I always remember this. There's this line that Trade Devil once said, and he's like, you know, talking about back the fucking truck up, you know. That's what this trade's going to be right here. Okay. That's what this will be. This is a time to go silly long, sell your wife, sell your kids, mortgage your house. Just kidding, by the way. Don't mortgage your house. You can sell the wife and the kids, just don't mortgage the house. Okay. Gotta have a place to live, even if you do work at McDonald's, right? Because you've lost all your crypto. So let's talk about my favorite. Even though I'll be honest with you and say I don't have much of a count on it, but we're going to talk about good old GRT. I am ludicrously, very irresponsibly long on GRT. This bastard coin, right? So I don't necessarily have a count on it. I've just been watching it. Actually, that's market cap. That's the graph versus Bitcoin. What's this one over here? It's the 8-hour. GRT is one of those bastards that is very difficult, in my opinion, in order to count. Try to get some kind of, you know, understanding of what's going on with it. Which one's actually the low here? Oop. Question is, which one do you want to believe in? Because this looks like a three-wave move. This looks like an impulse. So I'm going to have to go with Coinbase being fucked up, and I'm going to have to say this is a fuck up. So I think even though on Coinbase this is the low, and yeah, I could go check other exchanges, but I'm not going to. I'm going to have to say that. I want to say that because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that looks like an impulse right there. Now maybe it's A, B, C. 1, 2. You know, maybe there's some sort of a 3, 4, 5. Tell you what, let's not worry about that part and let's just focus on the moonshot. Now GRT, I don't go down into low time frames with it. My counts may be a little bit off with it like everything else, but I stick to higher time frames and just keep it simple. I don't care about every little move with this thing because it can get very difficult to count. It's fucking wickedy fucking crazy, but there's a flat sitting right there in the middle here. I have not really looked much at GRT besides saying, oh, look at that, it's going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What's going on here? Well, that's pretty obvious. 1, 2, 3, 4, and extended fifth. Let's drop this down. Now, if this is a 4, this is getting pretty deep. This can't be a 4. It's just straight down. Granted, we're on the 8-hour, but this is straight down. I can't call that anything else but just the start of an A wave, which is going to lead me into some other ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perhaps. Yeah. 1, 2. Extended fifth here, extended fifth there. Okay, so we got some rhythm, right? Got an idea. It's all we're gonna ever have, kids. It's just an idea. Man, this video's actually ended up pretty long so far, huh? Hey, guys, I hope you enjoy these. I don't pretend to know everything. Frankly, I don't want to know everything. I do like the puzzle, as Sam says. I like to kind of just play around with things. I'm not a heavy trader. I actually trade for the most part in small amounts. I don't go for $3 million trades or anything crazy like that. I am part of the working class that doesn't want to lose his money. So, 1, 2. Let's bump this up a degree. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and extended fifth. Is that third longer than the first? Please say you are. And you are, so it's valid. I don't think this is a third. It measures as a third, but I mean, it's a 2618 shot, so it measures like a third, but I just don't think it's a third. We've got a straight run down here. So either we've got some sort of a, I mean, I suppose this could be 1, 2, 3. No, we're missing a wave set in there. Again, this is why I keep on higher time frames, because you can see the actual moves. Things become much more clear for Elliott Wave on the higher time frames. Takes a lot more patience when you trade the 6 or the 8 hour. But if you can build the patience and the tolerance to wait, man, it's easier. It's easier to trade too. Granted, you probably make more by being down on the 15-minute, but you also have a chance of losing more. So, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I need to bump everything up a degree. So if I go out on a limb and say 1, 2, 1, I mean, this is certainly luck. We get a 3-wave move. We get a 3-wave move into what appears to be a straight down move. That's a flat to me all day long. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this move, let's tell you what. Let's go down just for shits and giggles. Okay. You still can't even see it. I mean, it's just a straight fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks like a flat right here in the middle. But again, you can't quite see all the definition in the moves. But yeah, I mean, she measures 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe this didn't quite make it. An underthrow on a diag, or maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, and C. Okay. Either way, this is why I don't play the lower time frames. You don't know what this is. You have no idea. Higher time frames. I mean, look here. You can clearly see this appears to be a flat of some sorts, right? We don't have any kind of 3-wave move in here as of yet. So. Personally, I'm gonna think that GRT is probably just, something like this. Probably have another 2 down here somewhere. Be interesting to see. What we don't want that to do is to break. Son of a. We don't want it to. Oh, there! Look at that tag. We don't want it to break this this bottom channel line. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on GRT. But man, this thing. It's my boy. Hopefully we can get it to do something, right? That'd be great. So that's GRT for right now. It looks like it's back on. Bitcoin dominance, or I'm sorry, that's market cap, yeah. Crypto cap dominance. BTC dominance. Well, I think that's all we've got at this point for kids. So I'd say you guys should have a great night. Trade safe. Don't be silly, right? And you guys have a great night. Take care.